How pirates captured enemy ships without destroying them, the art of maritime theft. Picture this. You're a pirate captain who just spotted a Spanish treasure galleon loaded with millions of dollars worth of gold, silver, and precious goods. Your mouth is watering at the thought of all that treasure. But here's the problem. If you attack with cannons blazing, you'll destroy the very treasure you're trying to steal. Sink the ship and the gold goes to the bottom of the ocean. Blast holes in the hull and you'll damage the valuable cargo. So how do you capture a heavily armed enemy vessel without destroying the prize you're after? This was one of the greatest challenges pirates faced, and they solved it with tactics that were absolutely brilliant. Pirates didn't just rely on brute force. They developed sophisticated capture techniques that were part psychology, part strategy, and part pure theatrical genius. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how these maritime criminals became master ship thieves who could take prizes intact while minimizing damage to the treasure they were after. The capture challenge: taking ships without breaking them. Let's start with why capturing ships intact was so crucial for pirates. A damaged ship was often worthless. Holes in the hull meant water damage to cargo. Broken masts made ships impossible to sail, and destroyed decks made it difficult to access treasure holds. Pirates needed captured ships for multiple reasons beyond just the treasure they carried. They needed the ships themselves as additions to their fleet, replacement vessels if their own ships were damaged, or valuable prizes that could be sold to buyers who wanted intact vessels. The cargo protection problem was enormous. Treasure chests full of gold coins could be ruined by seawater, silk fabrics would be destroyed by cannon fire, and spices and other trade goods would be worthless if contaminated by smoke, water, or battle damage. But the biggest challenge was that merchant ships weren't helpless victims. They were often heavily armed with cannons, trained crews, and defensive preparations. Pirates had to overcome serious military resistance while being careful not to damage what they were trying to steal. The speed factor was equally important. Pirates needed to capture ships quickly before naval patrols could arrive. Other enemy ships could provide reinforcement, or weather conditions could turn dangerous. Long battles increased the chances of damage and discovery. Pirates also had to consider crew casualties on both sides. Dead pirates couldn't help sail captured ships, and dead merchants couldn't provide information about hidden treasure or secret cargo compartments. The fear factor. Psychological warfare as a weapon. The most successful pirates understood that fear was often more effective than cannons for capturing ships intact. They developed psychological tactics that could convince enemy crews to surrender without fighting. Reputation management was crucial for psychological warfare. Pirates deliberately cultivated terrifying reputations that preceded them wherever they sailed. Stories of their brutality, success, and ruthlessness would spread throughout the maritime community, making their mere presence enough to cause panic. The most famous example was Blackbeard, who would weave burning hemp into his beard during battles, creating a demonic appearance surrounded by smoke and fire. This theatrical intimidation often caused enemy crews to surrender immediately rather than face such a terrifying opponent. Flag psychology was equally important. Pirates would fly false flags to get close to targets, then reveal their true pirate colors at the last moment. This sudden transformation from apparent friend to obvious enemy could cause psychological shock that led to immediate surrender. The no-quarter threat was one of the most effective psychological weapons. Pirates would signal that they would kill everyone if the ship didn't surrender immediately, but offer mercy to those who gave up without fighting. This created powerful incentives for quick surrender. Visual intimidation involved displaying weapons, showing large crew numbers, and demonstrating their ship's fighting capability in ways that convinced enemies they couldn't win a battle. Pirates would arrange their crews to appear larger and more threatening than they actually were. The stealth approach, getting close without being detected. Pirates developed sophisticated techniques for approaching target ships without being identified as threats until it was too late for effective resistance. False flag operations were the most common stealth technique. Pirates would fly merchant flags, naval flags, or friendly nation flags that allowed them to get within close range of targets without arousing suspicion. Disguised ship profiles involved modifying their vessels to look like harmless merchants, fishing boats, or even naval escorts. Pirates would hide cannons, disguise crew numbers, and alter their ship's appearance to avoid detection. Weather exploitation allowed pirates to use fog, storms, and poor visibility to approach targets undetected. They'd time their attacks to coincide with conditions that limited enemy visibility and reaction time. Night attacks were particularly effective for stealth approaches. Pirates would sail close to targets under cover of darkness, then reveal themselves at dawn when enemies had no time to prepare effective defenses. The most sophisticated stealth operations involved multiple ships working together to create complex deceptions. One pirate ship might pose as a merchant in distress while others approached from different directions as apparent rescuers. The boarding strategy, taking control through direct action. When stealth and intimidation weren't enough, pirates had to board enemy ships and take control through direct combat while minimizing damage to the vessel and cargo. Grappling and boarding techniques were designed to quickly bring ships together and allow pirates to swarm onto enemy vessels. Pirates would use grappling hooks, boarding planks, and even jump between ships to get their fighters onto enemy decks. The most effective boarding attacks focused on controlling key areas of the ship, the wheel, the captain's quarters, and the main deck, rather than fighting for every inch of the vessel. This strategic approach reduced battle time and ship damage. Crew coordination during boarding was crucial for success. Pirates would assign specific roles to different crew members. Some would focus on combat, others would secure prisoners, and specialized teams would immediately search for treasure and important documents. Smoke and fire tactics were used to create confusion and force surrenders without causing major ship damage. Pirates would create smoke screens, use small fires for distraction, and employ other techniques that disrupted enemy defenses without destroying the ship. The timing of boarding attacks was carefully planned to coincide with enemy vulnerabilities. Pirates would attack during shift changes, meal times, or other periods when enemy crews were distracted or disorganized. The cannon precision, strategic shooting for minimum damage. When pirates had to use cannons, they developed incredibly precise shooting techniques that disabled enemy ships without destroying valuable cargo or causing the ship to sink. Rigging targeting was the most common precision technique. Pirates would aim for masts, sails, and rigging that controlled the ship's movement while avoiding the hull where treasure was stored. This disabled the ship's ability to escape without damaging the cargo. Crew area targeting involved shooting at areas where enemy crews gathered, the main deck, fighting positions, and command areas, while avoiding cargo holds and treasure storage areas. The most skilled pirate gunners could shoot away specific parts of enemy ships with surgical precision. They'd target steering mechanisms, weapons positions, and communication equipment while leaving the hull and cargo areas intact. Warning shots were used to demonstrate firepower and encourage surrender without actually damaging the target ship. Pirates would fire near enemy vessels to show their accuracy and firepower, while giving crews a chance to surrender before real damage occurred. Chain shot and specialized ammunition allowed pirates to target specific ship components. Chain shot was particularly effective for destroying rigging and sails, without penetrating the hull or damaging cargo areas. The negotiation tactics, talking your way to victory. Pirates often use negotiation and diplomacy as alternatives to battle, convincing enemy crews to surrender through bargaining rather than fighting. Surrender terms were carefully crafted to provide attractive alternatives to battle. Pirates would offer safe passage, protection for crew members, and even payment for cooperation in exchange for peaceful surrender of the ship and cargo. Hostage negotiations involved capturing key crew members, captains, officers, or passengers, and using them as leverage to secure the surrender of the entire ship without battle. Information extraction was a crucial part of negotiation tactics. Pirates would question captured crew members to learn about hidden treasure, secret cargo, and defensive preparations that could help them capture ships more effectively. Bribery and corruption were commonly used to turn enemy crew members into allies. Pirates would offer money, protection, or positions in their own crews to merchants and sailors who would help them capture ships from the inside. The most sophisticated negotiators could convince enemy crews that surrender was actually in their best interests. They'd point out the dangers of battle, the futility of resistance, and the benefits of cooperation. The inside job, turning enemies into allies. Pirates developed techniques for recruiting allies within enemy ships who could help them capture vessels from the inside without battle damage. Crew infiltration involved placing pirate agents on merchant ships as regular crew members. These inside agents could provide intelligence, sabotage defenses, and even take control of ships from within when pirate attacks began. Corruption of existing crew members was equally effective. Pirates would identify unhappy, underpaid, or mistreated merchant sailors and convince them to switch sides during attacks. Passenger manipulation involved identifying passengers who might be sympathetic to pirates or who could be convinced to cooperate. Wealthy passengers might pay for protection, while others might provide information about ship defenses and cargo. Communication with inside allies required sophisticated signaling systems that allowed pirates to coordinate with their agents aboard target ships. These signals had to be subtle enough to avoid detection by loyal crew members. The most effective inside jobs involved long-term planning, where pirates would place agents on ships weeks or months before planned attacks, allowing their allies to learn ship routines, defensive preparations, and cargo details. The multi-ship coordination, pack hunting tactics. Pirates often worked in fleets that could surround and capture enemy ships using coordinated tactics that made resistance impossible while minimizing damage. Surrounding maneuvers involved multiple pirate ships approaching targets from different directions simultaneously. This created situations where enemy ships couldn't escape and were overwhelmed by superior numbers. Role specialization allowed different ships in pirate fleets to perform specific functions during captures. One ship might focus on intimidation, another on boarding, and a third on preventing escape. Communication between ships during coordinated attacks required sophisticated signaling systems. Pirates would use flags, lights, and sound signals to coordinate complex multi-ship operations. Escape route blocking was a crucial element of multi-ship tactics. Pirates would position ships to cut off all possible escape routes while leaving the target ship with no choice but surrender. The most sophisticated fleet operations involved elaborate deceptions where some ships would pose as merchants or naval vessels, while others approached as apparent escorts or rescuers. The weather warfare, using natural conditions as weapons. Pirates learned to use weather conditions and natural factors to their advantage when capturing ships, using the environment as a weapon that could force surrenders without battle. Wind advantage positioning allowed pirates to control the tactical situation by positioning their ships where wind conditions gave them superior maneuverability compared to their targets. Storm exploitation involved using approaching bad weather to pressure enemy ships into surrender. Pirates would threaten to leave enemies in dangerous weather conditions unless they surrendered immediately. Current and tide usage helped pirates control ship movements and positioning. They'd use ocean currents to their advantage, while preventing enemy ships from using the same natural forces for escape. Island and reef tactics involved driving enemy ships toward dangerous waters where they faced shipwreck unless they surrendered to pirates who knew safe navigation routes. The most creative weather warfare involved using natural conditions to create time pressure that forced quick surrenders. Pirates would exploit approaching storms, changing tides, or other time-sensitive conditions. The technology advantage. Superior equipment for bloodless victory. Pirates often had better equipment and ship modifications that gave them advantages in capturing ships without damaging them. Ship speed modifications allowed pirates to overtake and outmaneuver merchant vessels. Faster ships could control the tactical situation and prevent enemies from escaping or maneuvering effectively. Superior weaponry gave pirates intimidation advantages that could convince enemies to surrender without fighting. Better cannons, more guns, and advanced ammunition created psychological pressure for quick surrender. Specialized boarding equipment made it easier for pirates to take control of enemy ships quickly and efficiently. Grappling hooks, boarding planks, and climbing equipment allowed for rapid ship-to-ship transfers. Communication technology helped pirates coordinate complex capture operations. Better signaling systems, speaking trumpets, and other communication tools enabled sophisticated tactical coordination. Navigation advantages allowed pirates to drive enemy ships into disadvantageous positions where capture became inevitable. Superior charts, instruments, and local knowledge gave pirates tactical control. The prisoner management. Controlling captured crews. Once pirates captured ships, they had to manage captured crews effectively to prevent recapture attempts and maintain control of their prizes. Crew separation techniques involved dividing captured crews among multiple ships to prevent coordinated resistance. Pirates would split up friend groups, separate officers from common sailors, and break up any potential leadership structures. Incentive systems convinced captured crew members to cooperate with pirates. They'd offer better treatment, shares of treasure, or positions in pirate crews to merchants who helped with ship operations. Hostage strategies involved holding key personnel, captains, officers, or valuable passengers as guarantees for the cooperation of other captured crew members. Integration programs allowed useful captured crew members to join pirate crews permanently. Pirates would recruit skilled sailors, navigators, and specialists who could improve their operational capabilities. The most sophisticated prisoner management involved psychological techniques that convinced captured crews that cooperation was in their best interests for survival and prosperity. The prize evaluation, determining what to keep. Pirates had to quickly assess captured ships to determine which were worth keeping, which should be stripped for valuable cargo, and which should be released or destroyed. Cargo assessment involved rapidly inventorying captured goods to determine their value and the best methods for extracting maximum profit. Pirates would prioritize the most valuable and portable items. Ship condition evaluation determined whether captured vessels were worth keeping as additions to pirate fleets. They'd assess sailing capability, defensive potential, and maintenance requirements. Crew value analysis helped pirates decide which captured personnel might be useful as permanent additions to their crews. They'd identify skilled specialists and potential allies among prisoners. Strategic value considerations involved determining whether captured ships could provide advantages beyond immediate treasure. Ships might be useful for specific operations, strategic positioning, or long-term planning. Market analysis helped pirates determine the best ways to dispose of captured ships and cargo. They'd consider which items could be sold, traded, or used to improve their own operations. The legacy of pirate capture techniques. The ship capture techniques developed by pirates influenced naval warfare and maritime security for centuries. Modern naval tactics still incorporate many principles first developed by pirates. Military boarding procedures use many techniques first perfected by pirates. The understanding of how to take control of enemy vessels quickly and efficiently comes largely from pirate innovations. Pirates also contributed to the development of maritime law and international regulations governing ship capture. Their practices influenced legal frameworks that are still used today. The psychological warfare techniques used by pirates influenced modern military and law enforcement tactics. Their understanding of how to use fear, intimidation, and negotiation for tactical advantage is still studied today. Conclusion: the masters of maritime theft. The next time you see a movie where pirates blast enemy ships to pieces, remember that real pirates were much more sophisticated. These weren't mindless destroyers, they were precision thieves who could capture ships intact while preserving the valuable cargo they were after. Pirates prove that with creativity, planning, and psychological insight, you can achieve victory without destruction. Their capture techniques were so effective that they influenced naval warfare for centuries. The story of pirate ship capture is really a story about strategic thinking and tactical innovation. Pirates didn't just fight, they outthought their enemies, using intelligence and creativity to achieve their goals with minimal damage. And honestly, the fact that pirates could regularly capture heavily armed ships without destroying the treasure they were after shows just how sophisticated their tactical thinking really was. These maritime thieves were absolute masters of their craft. What do you think? Which pirate capture technique impressed you most? Could modern navies learn from these historical tactics? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed learning about the incredible tactical skills of pirates, hit that subscribe button. Next week, we're exploring how pirates created their own legal systems and courts. Their justice innovations will absolutely amaze you.